StrengthsFinder has identified empathy as one of your strengths. You can sense emotions of those around you. You can feel what they're feeling as though their feelings are your own. This strength of empathy is one of the primary strengths used in leadership. It helps you to resonate with others. It helps you to read what they're sensing and then play to that feeling or that emotion that you're picking up from other people. It is actually a pure leadership strength. Many people with empathy don't think necessarily that they have leadership skills, but remember, leadership is all about emotion. Empathy is a pure emotion strength. It allows you to be able to sense what's going on in other people, resonate with them at all levels. As you practice and utilize this in speaking, for instance, you can get in front of a crowd. At first you start with one-on-one, then you go to a larger crowd, and you'll be able to see that you can read what's going on in a crowd. Now, all of us can do that, but you because you have the strength of empathy, can do it at a level that most people can never achieve, and it comes to you much more naturally. So you instinctively look out at an audience. You see that there's a couple of people that maybe aren't kind of getting what you're saying, so you can play to that. Or you see people are excited, and you play to that excitement. That's what empathy can do for you in this area of leadership. It'll help you a lot in public speaking. It'll also help you on one-to-one communications. You'll be able to see when somebody has something that maybe they don't disagree. You can read it on them very quickly. Maybe you see that somebody is having a hard time understanding. You can see that, pick it up, read it, and play to it very quickly. And it'll help you in communications greatly. Intuitively, you're able to see the world through the eyes, through their eyes, through other people's eyes, and you can share their perspective very quickly. In other words, you pick up what it is they're seeing. You might say something, and you look at them, and you see that, hey, they probably have a different perspective on that, and you picked it up instinctively. Again, it's a strength. You don't necessarily agree with each person's perspective. You feel pity for each person's predicament. This would be sympathy, not empathy. So you don't agree with each person's perspective, and you don't necessarily feel pity for them either. Again, because that would be sympathy and not empathy. And you don't necessarily condone the choices each person makes, but you do understand, and that's very important. So it's key for you to be able to look at life and be able to say, hey, I understand, I get it, but you don't join their misery, so to speak. This instinctive ability to understand is very powerful. You hear the unvoiced questions, you can see them, you can understand them, so when you pick those up, you can answer them, and you can see how important and how critical this strength is, especially, again, in leadership and public speaking. When you're leading a team, when you're involved in the team, you don't have to necessarily be leading just to use this strength. You can use it anytime you want, even just in a team or around the table. You help people find the right phrase to express their feelings, and you can anticipate their needs. And you always know the right words and the right tone to be able to resonate with them. And by resonating, I mean you can talk to somebody and you can see how they react, and you can watch and you playing on the same team, so to speak. You're playing at the same level at the same time, and resonating with them. You help give them voice to their emotional life. You might see somebody just struggling to help explain things that are going on. You might see them struggling with something in their life from an emotional perspective, and you can resonate with that and help them walk through that. And for all these reasons, people are drawn to you. And again, it's a natural leadership strength. People are drawn to people with empathy because they know that they can go to them and they can express emotion. They're not going to be judged for it. They're not going to be joined in their misery, but they're going to understand. They're going to help. And depending on your other themes, your other strengths, and your personality, and what your behavioral attitudes are, you'll be able to work with these people and to be able to help them through issues in their lives at different levels. Again, depending on how you're designed. So let's talk about your action items. Your action items. Appreciate your gift for getting in touch with the thoughts and feelings of others. And let other people know that that's what's one of the things you have a strength in, what you can do, and how you help communicate with them is because you have the ability to be able to empathize with them, and also practice naming the feelings you experience and those you observe in others. When you see something, try to put a name to it, try to put a label on it so that you can understand, hey, I've seen this before, I know this, and be able to understand where it's coming from. It'll help give some power to this strength of empathy. Build trust with others by letting them know that you know how they're feeling. So when you see something, you know exactly what it is, let them know. Let them sense from you that you've got a good handle on what they're feeling. You can empathize with them. That'll make them feel better. Help your colleagues be aware of the feelings that other persons around them are having. If you're in a team environment, if you're in some kind of environment where there's multiple people sitting around, and you see somebody that's obviously not buying in or is confused by what's being said, let the other team members, wait a minute, let them know and say, wait a minute, John's not picking this up. Mary's having difficulty with this. Let's just stay on this topic a little bit, because I think there's some issues here, and then ask for confirmation, and make sure that that's true. So identify, also another action is identify a friend who has a strong empathy, and check your observations with him or her. So if you know somebody else that has this theme, this strength of empathy, talk with them, work with them, and check what you're sensing with theirs to make sure that you're really, that you're picking up the same thing and picking up correctly. You have a talent to pick up these things that are going on. People when they're silent, you can hear things. You have the ability to be able to pick up things. So you'll be those people who are quiet in a room, who are not necessarily talkers. You can watch their face, you can watch their body language, and tell that, hey, there's something going on. And when they speak, you'll pick up more what they're thinking and what's going on in their minds than the other people around you. And you can be invaluable to help people in your team get through these things. So refine your nonverbal communication skills also. Learn to use to sit forward in a meeting to show people that you're excited about what's going on. Ask a lot of questions in a meeting and watch the response of people and see how they respond, and learn to use this whole empathy theme better. Okay, and so be ready to act quickly and firmly if a person is behaving in a way that is unhealthy for that person or for those around them. So if you see people, and you can read this and say, look, this person is emotionally out of touch, or something's going on here, act quickly and firmly with these people. Don't let them run over you. And then understand someone's emotional state does not mean that you must excuse their behavior. So when you do see this kind of behavior and it's bad behavior, just because you can understand it doesn't mean you should put up with it. Be aware that when your empathy turns to sympathy, others might see you as a bleeding heart, and you don't want that. You want people to understand that you can empathize with them, you can resonate, and you can see, okay, I see how they're feeling. It doesn't mean it's right, it doesn't mean you agree with it, and people need to understand that. Partner with somebody with a strong command or activator theme. These people will get you moving in a direction. They'll help you to exercise this extremely strong strength of yours. Often people with empathy don't look at themselves as leaders. They don't look at themselves as people who can be on the front end of are leading and getting arrow shot at them, but you're extremely effective in that role. So get around people who have activator or command. Activator will help push. They're the people that say, well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. And commander are the people who are saying, this is what we need to get done. Let's go. What are we waiting for? That's the Patton type. I'm really sorry you have to die, but march. It's that type of person. So this person will help you take a needed action, even though the people's feelings might suffer as a result. You want to be able to move forward. It's very powerful.